You might recall in that preceding video, upon wrapping up my thoughts on Rage and paving a route for our transition to where we now sit on the third work we've welcomed from Mesmerized, but I was trying to determine which single or which track on Electrolyze had to come out as the welcoming single to herald the arrival of the group into the public. Desire was in fact that song, as I suspected. So it'll be fun to broaden out with not only our third piece, but the initial debut of Mesmerized, again to my knowledge, and the first ever full-on music video that we've had from them, besides a couple lyric videos, which have been great, but a full-on band performance, I believe, at least judging by the thumbnail. I'm curious, I mean, it's our third entry, and Mesmerized offers something quite special, not only on the Hungarian grounds in a first approach, but also being a melodic, I'm going to call them melodic, modern, power, and electronic metal. There's kind of the interweaving, very similar to Amaranth on voice, and I brought up that comparison before, though I think there are distinctive traits to their own work that put a charming veneer around them in independency. And I do think they're going to delight you if you're into good music, or even more specifically, aggressive metal. The last couple tracks have been a full throttle. I mean, there could be a mixture here that we might see over the course of 6 pieces now that we're going to be halfway in with Fulfillment of Desire. So we'll have to see if there's an evolution on executed craftsmanship and different voices applied to certain works. But so far, I've gone for a full metal feel, and I've really enjoyed that. I do gravitate more into the ferocious energy, but I keep an open door open for any artist, and even outside of metal, right? I genuinely welcome anything. You know, I love music as an art form. I do think it benefits the process to provide opportunities for mutual enjoyment, especially on first arrivals. And there's a real charming thing about emerging and establishing voices. And it's not oftentimes a commonality with many European groups. Sometimes it is the case, but it's not been that often. Usually I'm coming to many groups on this first discovery rather late, and when they've established a very well-known and reputable voice. Mesmerized is still evolving. I believe there's going to be some developments that are set for later this year, I think. Group evolving in their days, but a real promise, I think, to their work on what we've initiated with on first explorations. Let's broaden out with Desire together. My suspicion is a number of you have not yet welcomed the graces of Mesmerized, and they are of initiate experience to you on standing and music replays. But maybe some of you approach being a familiarized listener, and I welcome either company from whatever angle, right? I hope there's a diversity among us. Some of us are knowledgeable and others are not so much. I'm in a middle space, right? Discovering their talents alongside you. Very much, though, of initiate discovery as of today. But I'm enjoying the ride. I hope you are too. Let's get to a halfway point for the selection I've organized with Desire. And if I'm looking down at all, by the way, I'm going to have the music video playing. I, as I said, bought a physical copy of the album in America at the very least. It seems to be the only way to access it. So I'm looking down at the lyrics as the song plays. And I'll try to keep concentration as well, or maybe divide it, but we'll see. Maybe I'll read it after. But if I'm looking down at all, it's because I'm looking at the booklet. Or if I'm looking up, of course, I'm trying to pay attention to the music video as well, or give adequate attention, which this is our first experience with that. Let's humor it together for the first time in mutual company. Alrighty, this sounds great. It seems to be my favorite of the pieces. Let's see. Traditional metal number with a fun electronic opener. Hard riffs. Good balance.
All this time without emotions, burning with the tide.
That sustaining on that background synth is really interesting to me. It's still there. Just swings in occasionally. It's nice. That transition to the chorus worked really well. And his higher inflections work very well. Again, there's a charming lightness to it, and the background echoes were a really fabulous touch. The dominance on that metal root, though, on the riff, I love. The way her vocals ascend to again those higher inflection points, she's got a great execution, real precision and command. Oh, this is great. So far my favorite bridge instrumental I've heard yet. Again, the electronic influences work perfectly here. You don't lose the melodic, you don't lose the instrumental, and it works in the superficial accompaniment. Particularly if it's a shift from the last chorus, but it works. That's a great debut piece, and I'll tell you, I hear it in the song, but it is a initial definition. It's there. Some songs you notice that, at least on Origin Standing, but they do take on the appearances of that initiator work. And though I started in a regular place with Cyanide, so I rewound back, as I mentioned before, to the conclusion of the album, and then we're now back at the beginning, or near that, with at least the selection I picked, with Rage, now going into Desire. Maybe I should have started here, because this was the initiator. Well, no, I like the way I did it. Maybe I should have done this one first. I don't know, because this was the initiator single. I hear that voice on initial footing. I'm not trying in any way to be dissing to the track. I like the construction. I'll get to some of the stronger points in a minute. Sometimes you hear this with emerging artists that they're trying to, but they have an idea or a grasp of where they want to go, and you're hearing those first couple of steps on sound tailoring. By comparison to, well, actually, let me say it this way. Rage demonstrates a bit of a finer tuning post-Desire. This feels like an early introduction to their work with as much promise. But when you reflect on the experience and you consider the subtle breakdown of it, and there are subtle traits, and I've done this in the past of other debut artists on single appearances as well, you dive in deep and then you really see the strengths. And it's not hard to notice with Desire, especially if you're somebody who's as knowledgeable as I've been on experiences, and ones that perhaps we've taken together on the electronic metal grounds. What I hear in strictness on proficiency of execution and structuring, the subtlety of the background synth, gauging a compelled momentum, right? Where maybe that comes across sort of founded on the riff origin, and that's there with this piece, or an emphasized percussion that was persistent with the last number. It's not only the vocals and the riff that carry along the tone of the number and where it's going, that you still feel like it's such a linear stream, but those background synths really help. Again, it's such a delicate touch. The inflections on Anna's vocals as well, I think it's Anna, the building up, the ascendancy, and then the departure going back to a lower range. That wavering fits incredibly well. Her voice is much lighter. When you have an aggressive metal number song, you might have a vocal set that complements that, especially on aggressive energy. This takes on a different feeling and contrast, but it adds this unique point of interest for me. And the command on that instrumental background, too, is something special. Again, hybrid between electronic and melodic, you have to have an association for it to gauge with me. And maybe there's some tracks that depart, I'll be fair on that, but typically with electronic music, there has to be that musical foundation, and if not, it doesn't tend to be a favorite of mine. When you see that interplay, and I've seen it brilliantly with many European groups, usually those are to my interest, and Mesmerized fits well. It's a strict command, but a beautiful delivery. I really like what I'm witnessing here. But again, I consider the single standing. That's a great debut piece. It captures a lot on perspective experience. And what we've witnessed together so far of Cyanide and Rage, you see that embodied here, with even in association to that some fresh traits. I like it. It's That's a good number. Good debut single sets a good trajectory on expectancy. And we're going to continue the journey going forward with other pieces off of Electrolyze. Next with, I believe, Shutdown. So that is track number what on the album? 1, 2, we are up to track number 4, track 6. All right. I'm curious though, I like the name. A lot of these pieces seem to have a bit of a harder vibe to them. I don't know for sure, but we're going to discover that for ourselves. But the last 3 pieces have been. This is probably the, well, it's still got a harsh energy route to be quite clear, as everybody witnessed. But this one came across at least subtly as a little, little softer. A bit more of a strictness on the sound delivery, but good. It still has that rough root. Generally speaking, though, I've loved the ride of Mesmerized. We're halfway through our journey. Fabulous introduction thus far. I cannot wait to hear more with you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.